The meditation chamber on Coruscant was usually a sanctuary of silence, but for Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, it had become a theater of horrors. It began during a routine deep trance exercise. Instead of the gentle flow of the living force, a vision tore through his mind with the violence of a supernova. He saw the Jedi Temple not standing in its white marble glory, but hollowed out, scorched, and silent. The air in the room grew thin. Kenobi watched, paralyzed, as a hooded figure draped in darkness ignited a blade of crimson fire. The vision was crystalline. It was visceral. He felt the cold, suffocating grip of the dark side, crushing the very breath from his lungs. When he finally wrenched himself from the trance, he was drenched in sweat, his hands trembling against the floorboards. This was no ordinary nightmare. It was a premonition, a terrifying certainty of the Order's total annihilation. He rushed to the archives, searching for any historical precedent for such a vivid, catastrophic warning, but found nothing. The implications were paralyzing. If the Force was showing him this, it was a warning that time was already bleeding away. He walked to the window, overlooking the bustling traffic of the Republic capital, and for the first time in his life, he did not see progress. He saw a graveyard waiting to be filled. His mind raced with a singular, agonizing question. Who was the architect of this impending ruin, and how could he stop it before the first domino fell? He turned toward the door as his comlink chirped a notification that Anakin Skywalker had returned from the front lines, carrying the very darkness he had just seen in his vision. Anakin Skywalker stood in the docking bay, his cape billowing with a confident, reckless flair. To anyone else, he was the hero of the Republic, the chosen one who would bring balance. But to Obi-Wan, standing in the shadows of the observation deck, he was a ticking thermal detonator. The visions had not ceased. Every time Kenobi looked at Anakin, the image of the hooded figure flickered over his silhouette like a ghost. Was this his brother? Was this the man who would turn the temple into a tomb? Obi-Wan felt a sickening coldness settle in his chest. He began to track Anakin's movements, not out of mentorship, but out of a desperate, preemptive suspicion. He analyzed every handshake with Chancellor Palpatine and every moment of agitation during briefings. When Anakin spoke of the war's frustrations, Obi-Wan no longer heard a student venting. He heard the seeds of sedition. The Council noticed the change. They sensed Obi-Wan's agitation and his obsession with keeping the younger Jedi close, but they could not understand the burden he carried. He was playing a dangerous game, trying to safeguard the future by suffocating the present. He forced Anakin into extra training sessions, hoping to exhaust him, to keep him under his literal shadow. He was blinded by his own fear, unaware that his suffocating vigilance was becoming a wedge. During a private sparring match, Anakin's eyes flashed with a flicker of uncharacteristic, raw aggression, and Obi-Wan realized with horror that his suspicions were no longer just a theory, they were becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Obi-Wan knew he had to act before the prophecy solidified. He cornered Anakin in the hangar, his voice uncharacteristically sharp. "Stay away from the Chancellor, Anakin," he demanded, his hand resting instinctively on his lightsaber. "His influence is not what you think. I have seen the rot that spreads from his office." Anakin stared back, his jaw tight. "The Chancellor is the only one who actually trusts me, Master. Why are you doing this? You've been watching me for weeks like I'm a criminal." The confrontation escalated into an ugly, public display of distrust. Obi-Wan didn't care about the onlookers. He cared about the future of the galaxy. He reported his findings to the Council, framing them as urgent warnings. He demanded that Anakin be pulled from high-stakes missions and removed from the Chancellor's inner circle. He thought he was being a savior, but in his panic, he was playing into a trap. Palpatine was a master of perception, and he used Obi-Wan's sudden hostility to his advantage. He told Anakin that the Jedi were jealous of his power, that they were afraid of his greatness. Obi-Wan's preemptive strike backfired spectacularly. Every time he tried to pull Anakin back into the light, the gravity of Palpatine's lies pulled him 2 steps further into the abyss. He was driving his best friend directly into the arms of the Sith Lord he was trying to expose. As Anakin stormed out of the chamber, he didn't go to the Jedi barracks. He headed straight for the Chancellor's office, feeling more isolated from his master than he had ever felt in his life. The betrayal stung more than any blaster bolt could. Anakin had found the tracking device in his starfighter, a crude but effective piece of surveillance tech planted by Obi-Wan. He stared at the small blinking light in his palm, his mind racing with a mixture of confusion and boiling rage. He marched into Obi-Wan's quarters, slamming the device onto the table. "Is this what I am to you?" he shouted, his voice echoing off the sterile walls. "A pawn to be monitored? A threat to be neutralized?" Obi-Wan stood his ground, his face pale but resolute. "I am trying to protect you from a path you cannot see, Anakin. I have seen the end of it, and it leads only to darkness and ruin." "You've seen nothing but your own insecurities," Anakin retorted, his eyes burning with a sudden, dangerous intensity. "You were never worried about the dark side. You were worried that I would finally surpass you. You want to keep me small, hidden in the shadow of your mediocre teachings." The words cut deeper than intended, but they were the truth of how Anakin now perceived his mentor. The bond of brotherhood, forged in the fires of the Clone Wars, was shattered. There was no room for nuance or explanation. To Anakin, Obi-Wan was no longer his teacher. He was his jailer. He turned his back on his master, effectively severing their connection. As Anakin exited, he didn't look back, and Obi-Wan realized with a sinking heart that he had finally created the very monster he had spent months trying to prevent. The political stability of the Republic was a glass house, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was about to shatter it. He could not wait for the perfect moment. With Anakin firmly against him and the Senate buzzing with rumors of Jedi overreach, he took the only path left. He marched into the Chancellor's office, lightsaber drawn, flanked by 2 other masters. "It is over, Palpatine," Obi-Wan stated, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. "We know what you are. The Sith have returned." Palpatine didn't cower. He didn't even look surprised. He merely smiled, a slow, predatory expression that chilled the air. "You are early, Master Kenobi, and remarkably foolish." The skirmish was instant and brutal. Red blades clashed with blue in a blur of motion, but the war wasn't meant to start here. The clones outside weren't ready to turn on their commanders, and the security forces were confused, caught between the Chancellor and the Jedi. Alarms wailed across Coruscant, sending the city planet into a state of total lockdown. Obi-Wan had forced the hand of the Sith, but he had also exposed the Jedi as aggressors to the public eye. The chaos provided the perfect cover for Palpatine to escape into the lower levels of the planet. Meanwhile, the broadcast of the Jedi coup was already being beamed to every world in the Republic, turning the people against the very protectors who were trying to save them. Obi-Wan stood amidst the ruins of the Chancellor's office, realizing that he had saved the Republic from the Sith only to destroy the galaxy's faith in the Jedi. The smoke of war hung over the volcanic plains of Mustafar. This was not the climatic final battle that fate had intended. It was a hasty, jagged conclusion to a tragedy that had started too soon. Anakin stood on the landing platform, his eyes glowing with the raw, yellow corruption of the dark side. "You forced this, Obi-Wan!" Anakin screamed over the roar of the magma rivers. "You drove me to him, and now you want to punish me for what I have become?" Obi-Wan didn't offer a platitude. He swung his blade, a desperate strike that Anakin parried with hateful ease. The duel was not a dance. It was a brawl. Every strike carried the weight of their failed brotherhood. Obi-Wan fought to subdue, but Anakin fought to execute. The environment itself seemed to reject them as the facility began to crumble under the stress of their titanic struggle. There was no grace in this fight. It was a scramble for survival in a galaxy that was already falling apart. The Republic was leaderless, the Senate was in flames, and the clones were defecting to whoever offered them the next order. As they traded blows, Obi-Wan felt the immense, crushing weight of his failure. He had seen the future, and he had sprinted toward it with his eyes wide open, dragging his apprentice into the fire. The platform lurched, separating them, and as the lava rose to consume the facility, Obi-Wan watched Anakin disappear into the smoke, a broken man in a broken galaxy. The elder Vader falls, his mask fracturing to reveal the weary, aged face of the man who could have been, while Palpatine prepares his final strike. The death of the elder Vader did not stop the collapse. It accelerated it. Reality is bleeding. The sky above Coruscant turns a violent, bruised purple as the fabric of time rips open, revealing the void where the future once stood. Anakin stands over the fallen form of his future self, watching as the body dissolves into stardust. He realizes that the paradox was never meant to be resolved, only endured. Palpatine, sensing the decay of reality, desperately tries to anchor himself to the physical world, tearing through the defenses of the Jedi Order to claim his prize. Anakin feels the weight of every action he has taken. The Jedi are dead, the Republic is in ruins, and the Force is screaming. He stares at the void, seeing reflections of 1,000 different lives he could have lived. He is the center of the storm, the pivot point upon which the entire universe is balancing. Every choice he makes now ripples outward, tearing holes in the atmosphere. The betrayal is total. He has betrayed the timeline, his own future, and the very order he swore to protect. He looks up to see Obi-Wan, who is barely holding on, his connection to the Force fading as the world around them begins to disintegrate. Palpatine is no longer a man. He is a beacon of shadow, drawing the energy of the dying world into himself. There is no more room for debate. The final act of the tragedy is upon them, and the price of victory is existence itself. Anakin turns toward the Emperor, his eyes glowing with a power that transcends the Force, as he realizes he must become something entirely new to end this. The end arrives with blinding clarity. Anakin understands that he is the anomaly, the singular point of failure that has doomed the galaxy to this cycle of suffering. As long as he exists, the dark side will find a way to manifest through him. He looks at Obi-Wan one last time, a silent apology passing between them, before he plunges his hands into the rift of raw, unfiltered Force energy. He isn't just fighting Palpatine, he is unmaking himself. He pulls the timeline back, stitching the threads together by removing the catalyst, his own choice to fall. The world erupts in a blinding white light that consumes the Chancellor, the Senate, and the very memory of the war. Reality rewinds, folding in on itself like a dying star. Obi-Wan feels his memories slipping away, the trauma of Mustafar, the horror of the Empire, the long years of war all fading into the ether of the unknown. It is a quiet, profound erasure. The Skywalker who would have been a villain is gone, and the Skywalker who would have been a hero is simply not. The Force finds its balance again, undisturbed by the interference of a future that never was. The galaxy wakes up to a different morning, a quiet peace where the Republic endures and the Jedi remain the guardians of justice. The nightmare is over, and the history books will never know the name of the man who saved them by disappearing. In the final moment of consciousness, Anakin smiles, feeling the dark side finally release its hold.